Have you ever just sat quietly and wondered, why does everything feel so off lately? Why do the people I trusted feel distant? Why did that opportunity vanish when I needed it most? Why do even my heartfelt prayers feel like they're echoing into silence? It's easy to assume something's wrong with you, that maybe Allah is upset with you, that maybe you're being punished. But what if it's something else entirely? What if these shifts in your life are not rejections, but gentle redirections from the one who knows you better than you know yourself? Sometimes we beg Allah for change, for growth, for peace, for a closer connection with Him. But deep inside, we expect that change to arrive softly, with ease, with comfort. We don't expect it to come through heartbreak, silence, and uncertainty. But that's often how Allah works. Not to hurt you, but to awaken something deeper inside you. Maybe you're not being pushed away from something good. Maybe you're being pulled towards something better. Maybe that silence you feel right now is space. Space for you to finally hear your own soul, to hear the quiet call of your Lord. You weren't created to carry more than you can bear. That discomfort in your chest, the confusion in your mind, it's all seen, and it's all known. Nothing that happens to you is random. Not the losses, not the delays, not the changes. They are placed perfectly with wisdom and love, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. You see, we're so used to seeing blessings and things that look bright and successful. But what if the unanswered prayer was the mercy? What if the closed door was the protection? What if what you're calling a breakdown is really a breakthrough just in disguise? You might be looking at your life and seeing pieces falling apart, but Allah is seeing the pieces being placed exactly where they belong. That job that didn't come through, that friend who left, that plan that failed, none of it slipped past His knowledge. None of it was a mistake. It may have felt like a loss to you, but in reality, it might have been the beginning of your healing. The truth is, when Allah loves someone, He intervenes. He doesn't let their soul attach to things that are harmful. He doesn't let them drift too far. Sometimes that intervention feels like a storm, but later you realized it saved you from drowning in the wrong ocean. So instead of asking why this is happening, try asking what you're being prepared for. Try asking what kind of strength is being built in your heart through this test. What lesson is being whispered through the confusion? What old version of you is being left behind so you can become the version Allah intended you to be? Let your heart speak to Him, even if all you can say is, "I don't understand right now, but I trust you." That simple trust, even if your voice trembles while saying it, is a sign of faith, a sign that you're still holding on, and that's enough. Maybe this is the season where Allah removes the noise so you can return to Him in peace. Maybe He's slowing down your plans to speed up your transformation. Maybe He's pulling you away from things you thought were right so He can give you something far better than you imagined. You are not being ignored. You are not being left behind. You are not forgotten. You are being gently, lovingly moved toward the path you were always meant to walk. Whatever is happening right now is not the end. It is the rearrangement of your story, a story written by the one who sees your tears, understands your silence, and responds to your pain even when you can't find the words. This confusion in your life, as heavy as it feels, might be the clearest sign that Allah is working on you. Not to break you, but to rebuild you. Not to distance you, but to draw you close. You don't have to figure it all out today. You just have to trust that there is wisdom in the unknown. Because sometimes the greatest mercy is not what you're given, but what you're taken away from. And maybe this is the moment everything begins to make sense. Not on paper, not in front of people, but deep inside your heart, where faith lives, where hope breathes,
and where Allah is always near. You wake up one day and realize you feel completely alone. Not physically, maybe you're still surrounded by people, but emotionally, spiritually, there's this emptiness. The people who used to be close to you feel distant. The conversations feel shallow. You check your phone and no one has messaged you. The ones you trusted have slowly faded, and you're left wondering, what changed? You didn't plan for this. You didn't choose to feel alone. And yet, here you are, sitting with silence, sitting with yourself. You look back and think, I used to have people. I used to belong somewhere. Now I just feel invisible. And it hurts. But there's something else happening underneath that pain. Something subtle, something sacred. Sometimes Allah removes the noise from your life because He wants to speak directly to your heart, not through other people, not through distractions, just you and Him, alone. You see, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was chosen in solitude. He wasn't surrounded by crowds when he received revelation. He was in a cave, alone, reflecting, searching. And that silence wasn't a punishment. It was preparation. Maybe that's what's happening to you right now. Maybe this loneliness you're feeling isn't because you're unlovable. Maybe it's because Allah is protecting your heart from things that would have taken you further away from Him. Maybe He's clearing space inside you, making room for clarity, for strength, for Him. There are some journeys you're meant to take without a crowd. Some lessons your heart can only learn when the world around you quiets down. It's in those moments of isolation that the soul finally has space to breathe. And it's hard, yes. You want someone to call you. You want someone to notice that you've been quieter lately. But what if the one who created you has already noticed? What if He's the one pulling you away from people so He can pull you closer to Himself? When everything external goes quiet, that's when your internal world speaks loudest. That's when your thoughts surface, your wounds rise, your prayers become raw. That's when you finally say, Ya Allah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, but I need you.
And that's when the healing begins. You're not meant to fill your loneliness with noise. You're meant to feel it, to sit with it, to invite Allah into it. Because there is a version of you that only exists on the other side of this silence. A wiser you, a softer you, a version of you that has learned how to stand alone, not because you stopped needing people, but because you learned who your soul truly depends on. Let yourself walk through this quiet season. Let yourself cry if you need to. Let yourself fall into sajda with no words, just you and your breath, you and your tears, you and your Lord. And remember, the people who are meant for you will not be lost. The hearts that are written for your journey will return at the right time. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to beg for connection. What Allah has written will find you. But first, He might want you to find yourself in Him. If you're feeling isolated, try spending just 5 minutes a day sitting quietly and saying nothing but, Allah, I'm here, and I know you're here too. No fancy duas, no expectations, just presence, just openness. Some of the most powerful transformations begin in moments like that. Don't fear this space you're in. It's sacred. It's not emptiness. It's a divine invitation. An invitation to pause, to turn inward, and to let your relationship with Allah become the most intimate connection in your life. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not forgotten. You are being chosen. And this quiet time may be the exact ground where your greatest spiritual awakening will begin. Stay with it. Stay patient. Let your soul soften in the solitude. Because even in this silence, you are being heard. And even in this loneliness, you are deeply, deeply loved. You had plans. You had a vision. Maybe you were finally moving forward. Your career, your goals, your healing. Things were starting to feel stable. You thought, this is it. I'm on the right track. And then everything slowed down. Emails stopped coming. Doors that were open started to close. The energy you once had, it faded. You don't know what happened, but something shifted. Now your days feel slower. Your dreams seem paused. You're trying, but it's like life hit a red light and you weren't prepared to stop. And what hurts most is not knowing why. Why now? Why after everything I did to get here? But slowdowns are not the same as setbacks. Sometimes the pause is not a punishment. It's a sign, not of failure, but of preparation. Allah knows the unseen. He knows what you're being protected from. That opportunity you were chasing may have looked perfect, but what if it would have pulled you further from your peace? What if it wasn't ready for you, or you weren't ready for it? When your plans slow down, it's easy to panic. But what if this pause is your space to grow, to strengthen what's weak in you, to heal wounds you've ignored? What if this is the space where Allah is realigning your path with something better than you imagined? Sometimes you don't see the blessing in the delay until later, until the thing you thought you needed no longer matters.